Hey everyone. I hope you guys are having an amazing start to your day. I just feel some really good energy this morning. Um, Even though to be honest, I'm a little bit tired today. It's probably the weather where I live in the Midwest. We're on a roller coaster ride right now. So we have a really nice day, then you have a really cold, gloomy, rainy day, and that's today. But nevertheless, um, as I was sitting here, and if you saw my desk right now, I have like, my God, I got papers everywhere. I'm putting some finishing touches on a new signature talk that I'm doing that is really the framework of what I do with Rockstar Health and my coaching. And this new signature talk is really teaching people a framework. You're really giving you tools in your toolbox, right? Because every day is different. And I think it's really critical to understand that. And part of the section that I'm just coming across right now made me want to come on and talk to you about it. And it's talking to busy moms, and shouldn't even say that moms, it's kind of a given, right? If you're a mom, you're busy. But moms who may also work inside the home, maybe you have a work from home position, or maybe you're still working outside the home, you're juggling things constantly. Let's face it. And, while we're the glue that's holding everything together, right? We're a mom, we are wives, we're daughters, we're friends, etc. We're trying to juggle everything and be everything to everybody every day. It's critical that you are stopping and taking the time to look up and see yourself. And are you holding yourself together? And it seems the world today, everything is kind of crazy. The stress levels, I think, are through the roof. And importantly, I believe that these stress levels are through the roof for younger and younger people. And if you're a mom in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's really critical that you take the time now to develop your framework or develop your routine in managing this stress because it's going to affect your overall health. So while we're wanting to make sure that you are holding yourself together, it's important to understand. I feel knowledge is power, and one of the main things I do is educate and educating the people on managing stress. Because let's face it, we're not going to remove all of our daily stressors. They are going to be there, and they might be different every day. There's a lot of external things, and life comes at you, and you need to know how to manage it. You see a lot of things as you're scrolling through the internet on cortisol and removing cortisol and get rid of cortisol. And let me tell you, cortisol as our main stress hormone is essential for our body. So don't be mistaken in thinking that it's not. We need cortisol. Cortisol is the main hormone responsible for our fight or flight response and how we deal with those acute moments of stress. When cortisol is released in those acute moments of stress, it's telling you its job is to say, hey, it's going to kind of give you a sense of heightened alertness. It's going to make you take ready to be taking action on whatever it is you need to do. And it's going to awake us. That's its job. But then it's supposed to do that job and go hide for a little bit, right? It's the environment we're in right now. There's so much chronically elevated cortisol levels. Sometimes from the time the feet hit the floor in the morning till the time you go to bed at night. And it's that chronic stress where you have super elevated cortisol levels throughout the day, where it's affecting your rhythm, your circadian rhythm, what the body's supposed to do, that we really run the risk of putting ourselves for illness, raising the rate of chronic diseases. And so it needs to start now, but it is never too late. But I wanted to tell you that you need to learn how to do that. So part of the tools that I teach, for instance, is to take pause. Take pause and be present. Give yourself a mini moment. So if you're in the situation where you are just running, and you feel like you're still not doing a good job. Because let's face it, we've all been there where you're just like, it just wasn't enough, or today wasn't great. I barely held it together. You need to start taking mini moments. And when you do that, take those pauses, it's protecting your energy. You need to find a way to protect your energy. And by doing that, I don't care if you're in the car, I don't care if you're sitting at home in the kitchen or you have to run out to the basement or you find a closet. It doesn't matter. Where can you go or what can you do to pause and protect your energy? And one of those things you can do is set a micro boundary for yourself. So I challenge you today in ways to start managing your stress to find 3 times today where you're going to take a mini moment. And in that mini moment, you're going to pause and do deep breathing techniques. So, a lot of people like to do the 5 seconds in and then 5 seconds out, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Because when you do that, it calms your system, it lowers your heart rate, it allows you to be present, it keeps you from reacting. Because if you are finding yourself just on high alert all day long, let me tell you some of the symptoms of super elevated cortisol levels or chronically elevated cortisol levels. If you're having difficulty focusing, because if your body is in that fight or flight response, the brain doesn't want to stop and think deeply or focus deeply on anything. So you might find yourself just really having trouble focusing on task. You might also have some memory issues. And, we all have those from time to time, but uh, things that you might forget during the day. And then what that does is it makes you super frustrated. It makes you irritable. And irritability is also a sign of elevated cortisol levels. So if you find yourself having anxiety or responding to things that normally should be quite manageable or something that's simply simple that you could manage, you find yourself getting really irritated or talking out in frustration or saying things that maybe you don't mean. That is also a sign of elevated cortisol levels. And then another issue is decreased emotional resilience. And what that means is, are you managing your mind, right? Are you, the part of the brain that is helping you to stay calm, to help you stay balanced throughout the day? If you have chronically elevated cortisol levels, you might have trouble doing that. And those outbursts might occur where you just don't really have good control of your emotional wellness. So if this is ringing true for you and you're like, yes, 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 and I think we all can say yes, yes, yes to all of these things at times, it is one of the number one things you need to do to start lowering your risk of having health problems later is starting to manage your stress and starting to manage those cortisol levels, especially if you're running all day long and you're just trying to check the boxes. So again, pause and protect your energy. Do that 3 times today and see if that starts helping. Make it a routine, make it a habit, do it every single day. I hope you guys have an amazing day.